I'm about to talk about Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Now, if you take out your Rosetta Stone, you'll see that that is OmegaPro speak for
I'm about to be toxic.
Before I get on with this, right, I just wanted to go ahead and say I am thoroughly glad, I am happy that people are enjoying Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Congratulations, I'm very happy for you. I'm glad you have a game you can enjoy. This is my opinions on the game, so you
can suck a fat one.
Because, again, this is my opinion on the game. And just because somebody got a different opinion than you, don't mean you got to go dig up my old tweets and get me canceled. Dragon Ball Z is a series that is very, very important to me, and it helped shape me as a child. You know what I'm saying? When I was young, bro, I watched Dragon Ball Z all day, a day, bro. I remember me, my brother, my sister, mi madre, we'd all get together and watch the new episodes of Dragon Ball Z all the fucking time when they came on Tsunami, bro. I still remember to this day, when I first seen Trunks, when Trunks came out the cut and Mecha Frieza was like, yeah, Earthlings, I lived, bitch. And he was about to murder everybody. And then Trunks came through. He was just like, I'm gonna end this man's whole career. And then slash that nigga to bits. After I seen that episode, you know what I did? I literally went into my kitchen. I grabbed a broom. I unscrewed the little broom thing, and I started swinging the fucking broom handle around like a goddamn maniac because I was like, I'm Trunks now, nigga. I'm like, this is my sword. I was like, yo, fuck you, Frieza. I'm about to end this man's whole career. And I was, you know what I mean? Like, bro, trust me. All right, me and all my friends,
we may have been a little stupid.
When we would go outside and play and shit, we would like pretend like we was in anime, bro. So like, I would always pretend like I was Trunks, right? So what we would do is we would like walk up, you know, we'd run up on each other and like be like, type being like, Kamehameha, or like fucking, you know, Masenko ha. And then like your friend would do some stupid shit, like he'd be like, no, that missed. And I'm like, you fucking idiot, I literally hit you. I stun locked you with my combo from previously. There's no way you could have dodged it. And then you get into an argument about how your Kamehameha actually hit them. And then like, no, I dodged it. And then it's stupid. And then they'd be like, no, I fucking teleported behind you. I'm like, you didn't teleport behind me, bitch. That's impossible. I had you wall splattered. Anyways, continuing on. Dragon Ball Z meant a lot to me. Played all the games. Dude, I remember for Christmas one year, I got Dragon Ball Z Budokai 1 for my PlayStation 2. I was like, I didn't even know the game existed, bro. But yo, when I tell you that I played Budokai 1 and then cried out of anger because I had blisters on my hand from trying to keep Raditz in the motherfucking middle of the special beam cannon, regardless, I loved it. You know what I mean? I loved it because it was Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Z meant a lot to me. Now, as time has gone on, I'm not going to lie, Dragon Ball Z has lost a lot of favor with me personally. You know, I started to watch other anime that I consider to be more enjoyable, even anime that are direct competitors, such as like, you know, Bleach and Naruto and stuff like that. But regardless, Dragon Ball Z will always hold a special place in my heart. I will always be super nostalgic towards the series, and regardless of anything that happens, the characters will always mean a lot to me regardless. So the prospect of Dragon Ball Z Kakarot comes out, and this is a RPG game that's going to take place in the Dragon Ball Z world and closely detail Goku's life in the Dragon Ball Z story. Okay. I'm not that mad at this. I was a little skeptical because obviously anime games don't necessarily have the greatest track record for being great games or anything like that. But, you know, the concept seemed interesting to me at the very least. And I was willing to give it, you know, a fair shot. But then we saw like gameplay of it. And once we saw the gameplay of Kakarot and we saw them exploring the world, I think it was E3, it may have been. I forgot what event it was exactly, but it may have been E3 where they were showing off, you know, flying around in some of the combat and stuff like that, where I started to initially get a little bit alarmed with the game because the game seemed extremely boneless. It seemed like it didn't have a lot of content to it, and the combat seemed very one-note, repetitive, and very, very boring. But regardless, there were still things that I was willing to be like, okay, maybe they can do some good with this. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? It's funner to play than it is to like watch somebody play or something like that. I'm willing to let it slide. Despite the fact that we've seen the Dragon Ball Z story retold over and over and over and over again. We see these stories time and time and time again. Do we really need a faithful adaptation of the story when I feel like the story isn't really complicated enough to where you're going to forget important details? And we've also, again, seen it so many fucking times. But one of the saving graces of this game was that it was being developed by CC2. And CC2 made Naruto Storm. And Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 3 is probably my favorite anime game ever, just because I love the story mode in Naruto Storm 3. It was excellent. Like, there were moments in that game that made me cry, gave me goosebumps, were better handled than the fucking anime that the game was based on. Incredible. So I was like, you know, if we're gonna get scenes like Storm 3, I'm down for that, because that would be really fucking cool to see. Unfortunately, I think my initial apprehensions of the game were mostly correct. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, to me, is one of the most boneless, soulless, boring, and pointless games I have ever played in my life. This is going to be considered quite the hot take, and I understand that, and I'm well aware that I'm about to get mad hate for this, and if this video does end up going up on YouTube, this is where the dislikes are going to come in. In my opinion, a game like Shinobi Striker or Jump Force has more reason to exist than Kakarot does. At least those games have a point. At least those games have a purpose. Kakarot has no purpose. The entire time that I am playing Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, I am bored out of my fucking mind, because you do have interesting scenes in the game. Like, there are some scenes that are like really well done and that'll be beautifully animated, but those are few and far between from the awkward, downright horrible other cutscenes in the game that you have to sit through. You will literally have two static characters. You have like Kid Gohan and Goku, and they're both just standing there looking at each other, and the camera's in one position, there's no camera movements, and they're just talking empty as fuck to one another. There's no animation in the way they move or talk. There's literally nothing going on in these cutscenes. It's literally all just boring and soulless. And the information that they're giving you is not information that you even give a fuck about. It's all random, pointless bullshit. Like, they go into so much depth of like random bullshit in the anime that might be that you might find cool if you like lore or whatever the fuck, but like, for the most part, it's all pointless and boring. And furthermore, the way that it's presented is just horrible. Even if it's valuable information, it's boring information to take in, because it like makes me want to fucking rip my hair out with how boring the cutscenes are. Not to mention, the music in the game almost never matches with the scene. Like, the music playing when Krillin's about to kill Vegeta before Goku's like, Vegeta, he's gotta live, because I want to fight him again one day. Like, the music is like, I don't know how to describe. It's like the music that plays during like a YouTuber's like background video or whatever. Like when a YouTuber's making a video and they have like a background song playing, like, okay, what's up guys? We have a new box from Loot Crate here. Thank you so much, Loot Crate. Make sure you use code Omega to save 25% off your first box or whatever the fuck. Like that sounds like that music's playing in the background while this emotional scene is going on. Goku literally just fucking died. And it's like, this guy says, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. I'm like, bro, what the fuck is this? This shit is trash. But all that could be forgiven. All that I would be willing to look to the other side for if the game was fun to play or if it had interesting mechanics. And unfortunately, very similar to the story and the dialogue in the game, the gameplay is also boring, soulless, and extremely repetitive. There is only one attack button in this game, circle. So you press circle a bunch of times and you can cancel it with key blast or cancel it with the step vanishes or do, other things like that to make it more interesting. But the fact that you're just pressing circle a lot is really just boring. Like I wish to God, like what would make this game like 50 times better is if they had some of the gameplay elements from Storm. For example, if I hold up and mash circle, I get like a combo that'll knock them upward and it's more of an aerial combo. If I aim downward and do a circle combo, maybe I'm smashing them towards the ground. Same thing with left, right, or the neutral stick. That would be good. I got to the Frieza saga. I got to Namek in Kakarot, and from what people have been telling me, the game does get a lot better like afterwards, which it might, I don't know, because obviously I haven't gotten that far, but this is I have 6 or so hours in the game, and this is like my feelings on the game so far. And just from a gameplay perspective, no matter how many more moves you unlock or your skill tree increases, the fact that the button mapping is already so limited, like no matter how deep you try to make this, it's going to just be soulless and feel boring and repetitive. There was one time where I thoroughly enjoyed the combat, and that was the Goku versus Vegeta fight in the Saiyan saga. That was fun because Vegeta mixed up his moves a lot, and Vegeta it was more of a tough battle. It wasn't just me steamrolling. But that leads me to another complaint I have about this game. This game commits one of my gaming sins. This is something that pisses me off and something that I hate in video games. When their idea of difficulty is having the enemies just have like stupid amounts of super armor. Like you will be hitting this enemy for like 3 days and it does not matter because they will just attack through all of your attacks and they will just fuck you. The person I was thinking of was the Dodoria fight. I was beating his ass the entire fight, and then once he got down to like a yellow health bar, I think, he just started like, it was literally non-stop attacking with super armor, and it was just boring to fight against because now the fight is slowed down to an absolute crawl and it's just not intuitive or fun to fight at all. I hate when opponents are given abilities that you can't have. Like, for example, in this game, if an opponent is charging up like a melee super attack, they'll absorb all of your attacks that you're doing to them and then just hit you, and then you're like stunned for a little bit. But you don't get that luxury. When you do one of your melee attacks, you can get hit out of it. You don't really stun them like they can stun you. You don't do any of that shit. And it's just not fun. It's just not fun. It doesn't make it hard in a challenging way. It makes it hard in an annoying way. Because you're just fed up with the shit. You don't want to deal with it anymore. So then you start making mistakes and you start doing stupid shit because you're just so bored. And furthermore, this goes on to another gameplay aspect I don't like. The giant battles are really, really disheartening. Like when you fight the Great Ape, all you have to do is just spam Kamehamehas. And people might argue, well, then just don't spam the Kamehamehas. It's not up to me to balance the game for the developers. Like if spamming Kamehamehas can help me beat this boss in 2 minutes instead of having to fight this thing for 10 to 15 minutes while trying to dodge all of its attacks and doing all this other bullshit, why wouldn't I do the Kamehameha spam? There's literally no negative downside to it. One thing that I had hope for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot were the dinosaur habitats. During my breakdown of the Dragon Ball Z Kakarot footage we got during E3, which I'll leave a link to in the description if this does end up making it to YouTube. The VOD is on Twitch. I never uploaded it to YouTube. But one of the things that I was kind of hopeful for were the dinosaur habitats, because scattered throughout the map, there's just a bunch of dinosaurs roaming around. And I thought that you'd be able to drop down and like have like almost like a super boss battle against these dinosaurs, and it would make the combat very interesting. You have these big, huge motherfuckers, and you have to, dodge around them and, be smart about your... No. You just float down, enter first person mode, and key blast them like 6 times, and then they just pass out. What's the point? What is the actual point of that? Why? They shouldn't even be in the game. You literally can't fail that. Because the dinosaurs will like notice you after you key blast them and then charge at you, which by the way, they only charge for like 2 fucking inches, and then that's it. Which I relate. I was saying 2-inch squad, where you at? But they only charge for like 2 fucking inches, and then they're like, I give up. And if they do hit you, they don't even deal damage to you. They just knock you back. You're like, well, that sucks. Key blast, and then you kill them. And you don't even kill them. They just fucking pass out for a little bit, and then you get their meat. Pause. The controls in the game suck dick. You've heard about this from everybody, I'm pretty sure, at this point. I think even people that are big fans of Kakarot can't admit that the controls fucking suck. For example, why is circle to melee when in every game under the sun it's square? That's just an odd thing. Controlling the actual character, like if you're running on the ground, yeah, good luck controlling the fucking character, because you can't. When you're flying, instead of like in every other game where you can fly, literally every other video game on Earth since Superman 64, you look to where you want to go and your character flies there. Literally every game under the sun. But in this game, if you want to ascend or descend, you have to press R1 or R2. Why? But my last complaint that I'll get into about Dragon Ball Z Kakarot here is the fact that it is an RPG game, because this could have been dope. A lot of people have been calling this game a 3D Legacy of Goku. That is so disrespectful to Legacy of Goku that it sickens me. Legacy of Goku 2 and Boo's Fury are 10 times the game that Kakarot is. I had somebody in my mentions, because I ended up talking to one of my followers about this, and this Twitter user added me and said this, because I had mentioned that I think Legacy of Goku is 10 times the game that Kakarot is, and he says this: "This statement is absolutely insane to me. Thinking a Game Boy Advance game from a decade ago is 10 times better than this, that's nostalgic delusion," which I find to be interesting. So he's comparing this to this. Okay, now you might look at that and say, wow, that is a very big difference. You're doing the same thing in both of these clips, by the way. In this clip, you're pressing B. In this clip, you're pressing circle. You're doing the same thing in both of these clips. This game might look prettier. Sure, I can give you that. But that's also very, very unfair to say about literally a Game Boy Advance game and a PlayStation 4 game. Where Legacy of Goku 2 excels over Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is just being a fun game that has more interesting things to it, that has, in a weird way, better exploration than Kakarot. Kakarot's world is so empty and soulless. Like, you can go ahead and you can fish, you can, get materials, you can cook and do that stuff, but like, what is it actually for? They have all these RPG elements, but none of them are actually good. Like, none of the RPG elements are actually implemented well at all. In fact, it's kind of a slap in the face to the genre to have this be put in the same league as all these other RPG games or whatever. And, you know, coming into this game, I didn't have necessarily high expectations for it. In fact, I had ground level expectations for it. So I wouldn't say I'm necessarily let down, but it is kind of disappointing, I think, to get a game that I feel like is this boneless. But like, at the end of the day, what could I really expect? Anime games just aren't very good in general. Like, when was the last time we got a good one that wasn't fighters? Like, you know, you can talk all day about something like Xenoverse. I think Xenoverse 2 is actually a very, very fun game on a casual level. It's once you play that game more and more, like how we all used to play Xenoverse. I'm sure a lot of you guys still do play Xenoverse. Once you get in depth with that game, then you start to realize how flawed it is. But I think on a casual level, Xenoverse 2 is fine. It's a very fun game. But other than that, like, you know, the Storm series is what it comes down to, in my opinion. And that's where I got some of my hope from, is I believed in CC2 to make a good Dragon Ball Z game, you know, because I think the Storm series is a highlight in what anime games can be. Very faithful to the source material. The way they retell the story is amazing to me. And I guess that's what I was expecting. But instead, we have a bunch of lifeless cutscenes strung together, and you'll have cool moments every now and then where the game genuinely looks gorgeous and impressive. But those scenes are very few and far between from what you actually get when you're playing Kakarot. And going back to this GIF that this person used here in an argument for why Kakarot is good, these kinds of scenes don't happen frequently at all in the combat. I think it happened so far. I'm on the Namek Saga. I haven't fought Frieza or anything yet. I think the last person I beat was Dodoria, if I'm not mistaken. This has only happened to me once. It happened to me when I was fighting Vegeta as Goku. If you interrupt his Gallic gun, you'll get like this little cutscene where like you just punch him in the face, and it was really awesome. It was really cool. But this is a gross misrepresentation of what this game is like. This game does not look like this, does not play like this for the majority of your time actually playing the game. The majority of your time playing this game is going to be spent flying around, watching boring, dumbass cutscenes, and pressing circle over and over again until you get to a highlighted boss fight like Vegeta or Frieza or something like that. Another thing that I thought was rather interesting, I don't know how they did not put this in the game, but the over 8,000 / over 9,000 meme, it's not in the game at all. Like, that's not really a complaint because I don't really give a fuck, but it's so weird to have such an iconic moment literally not be in the game at all. Like, the only sort of reference to it is Vegeta senses Goku coming through. He's like, yo, that's fucking crazy. This dude is coming. And then Nappa's like, damn, that's crazy. And he's like, damn, his power level like 5,000 or something. Crazy. And then that's it. There's no Vegeta, what's the scouter say about his power level? It's over. Even if they still said 5,000, like the iconic scene of him crushing the scouter, like they didn't put that in the game. Which, again, it is what it, I don't really give a fuck. I just thought that was a weird omission. But regardless, those are my opinions on Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. You guys can go ahead and trash me if you'd like to, you know, and dislike this video if you'd like. I understand, I get it. But, you know, it is what it is. If you enjoy the game, more power to you. I'm happy for you. Keep playing it, keep enjoying it, platinum the fucking game, replay it, new game plus it, do your thing. But for me, I don't think I'll be playing this game again.